Hungry, hungry hippo!
Hi, I'm Judah.
And Ian.
And we are the Amateur Film Critics. Here we are. So, this is gonna be like the third brand new movie that we've reviewed so far. We
remember the other two.
Oh, you forgot. We did Cruella and Space Jam 2.
Yeah.
And now we saw The Jungle Cruise.
Yeah, and this is the second film we've watched for the Amateur Film Critics, actually in a theater.
Yes, we got so we watched this one and we weren't expecting to do an episode about it, but then after we saw it, we realized that we needed to do one.
Or if we see a film in a theater, then just expect us to to then do a podcast.
But yeah, so we got a lot to say about this one, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and read the plot overview. So here we go. Dr. Lily Houghton, I think that's how you say her last name, enlists the aid of wisecracking skipper Frank Wolf to take her down the Amazon in his ramshackle boat. Together they search for an ancient tree that holds the power to heal a discovery. That holds the power to heal a discovery that will change the future of medicine. So, in case you were unaware that this movie existed, Dr. Lily Houghton is played by Emily Blunt, and Frank Wolf is played by... Oh yes, Lions got Mary Poppins. Frank Wolf is played by The Rock, who I got here.
The Rock.
And it's sort of like an Indiana Jonesy sort of adventure movie. Only Indiana Jones is obviously way better because it's the classic versions of these.
And it takes itself, and it doesn't throw a bunch of not needed things at.
Yes, that is true. Indiana Jones. Yeah, there's a lot. This movie was surprisingly more complicated, I think is a good way to put it. Excuse me. This movie was surprisingly more complicated.
Forgot.
So the first thing we got to talk about is the plot.
Okay,
Sorry, give me a second. I'm choking over here.
Michael!
Hey, David. I'm sorry. I'm eating tiramisu soup. The chocolate powder just went down my throat. I'm stopping now.
Is this why you're calling me?
No. I'm calling... Sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
So the plot kind of throws things at you that are just elements. It kind of throws plot twists randomly at you that I don't think you really need.
Yeah, so
Sense.
I guess we should go ahead and... This should have been obvious. We're going to have to put a little card or something saying this. But spoilers, obviously.
For the Jungle Cruise, if you really...
The Jungle Cruise. If you care a lot about the Jungle Cruise. This movie has... This thing has... We're going to spoil it. Just to get this out of the way. Frank Wolf, who's played by The Rock, is actually Francisco, the 400-year-old...
Yeah, who
conquistador?
We find out in the third half of the film. He's 400 years old.
400?
Thank you, Mr. Blow the Picture for me.
And him and Emily Blunt's character have during the at moments through this film, you see them having on again and off again relationship, kind of. Even though,
Yeah,
even though he's 400 years old.
it's funny because going into this movie, like for some reason in my mind, I don't know why I thought higher of this movie. I did not see them putting Emily Blunt and The Rock's characters together. Like no, like it was the actors and the actor and the actress themselves. I could not see them being like love interests.
Yeah,
No matter what their characters were like.
like whispered to him, like not knowing that this would actually happen, but that Emily Blunt and the Rock at some point in this film are gonna have a makeout scene, and they had like 3 of them.
No. Okay. Really only one if we're being honest.
Really only
Unless
one.
if you want to count the times that he was blowing air into her lungs because
Yeah.
she had drowned. But
He also like drags him back to breathe with more air in here.
yeah, she was really ready to kiss the Rock there, and she just bumped his head right into the gate. But that was a gag, obviously. But the entire plot of it gets a little complicated. There are some parts of it, while I say it does make it a little more interesting. There's something different from most. I don't know. It was definitely different to a plot than most adventure movies, if that makes sense. Like,
I mean,
I think the big part was how much they focused on the river. That usually doesn't happen, and that was probably a good thing, especially considering we're basing this off the ride in a way.
yeah.
But to me, that stuck out as being something a little more different. There was a big focus around the river. You have these bad guys that are stuck there. And I thought that part was interesting. I know Zion thinks a little less of this movie than I do.
Yeah, I thought it'll see my rating of it at the end.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. So with that said, let's talk about a little more in depth of each of their characters, right?
Okay.
We have The Rock, who,
Yeah.
like, you know, he was good. He was The Rock, basically. There's not much to say about...
Like The Rock. Well, it's a funny thing how you compared this film to, like, Indiana Jones, like, at the beginning.
Yes.
And because I would, in a sense, more compare this to The Rock's other adventure film, those two Jumanji films.
Oh, yes. Jumanji,
It
which is what
way
this
more
pops from.
Yeah, they actually have a lot of things in common. It's like,
Yeah.
guys, where both of those films throw things at you that they don't really need,
Oh,
but
come on.
but
The first Jumanji was good.
yeah, but they need those things to get them a PG-13 rating.
Oh,
If you get what
I see.
some of these things.
I guess I sort of see, but like, you can't throw shade at the first Jumanji film. The second one was okay, but the first one was really good in my opinion. I know that's a completely different movie.
That's where I'm coming from, though.
And I'm not talking. When I say the first Jumanji film, I'm talking about the one with The Rock. I'm not talking about the one way back that was an actual board game.
I would rate the first Rock Jumanji film probably higher than this film, just because I feel like in this film they throw, and you know, those not needed things. I feel like the not needed things work like better in that first Jumanji film than in this one.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well, yeah, that first Jumanji film. Okay, we're rating a completely different movie right now, but I'm going to say it anyway. The first Jumanji film, like, the entire thing is a video game, so throwing in those not needed things, like,
Yeah.
works better than them throwing the not needed things into the Jungle Cruise, which is not a video game.
Not a
Even though that would have been the biggest twist of all. um, but yeah, so then we also have Emily Blunt's character, who is sort of this like determined amateur explorer, but who's very like she's really gonna get what she. I'm not. Zion compared her to a Karen, which at the beginning of the movie there was a little bit of that, but I think it evened out the rest of the movie, and I like her character. Yeah, so
yes.
in the beginning of the film, Emily Blunt's character seems very much like throw money at it and we should get it kind of attitude, which was slightly annoying. Zion picked up on that the most, I think. But I think her character. Oh,
y'all, it is kind of like aiming where we are at. And if you don't know about my dog, her name is Patches, and Patches like hates it, and it thunders, and so we're gonna. Yeah. So Patches is going to join us in an amateur film.
Yeah, Patches is the newest amateur film critic. But yeah, so like I said, Emily Blunt's character throws money at things in the beginning, and that was annoying. I'll admit it. Zion caught on to that. But as you can go on, her character evens out, and I liked her character. I do find it incredibly strange that she can't swim.
Yeah, that was a dumb plot.
Like, she's going... That was a very... I don't know. I mean, we're both people who grew up swimming a lot, so maybe we're not being as sympathetic. But, like...
Yeah, but that was not a needed plot detail that they had to throw.
Yeah, I mean, she ends up... at least it was, like, a character flaw, so it makes her slightly deeper. Yeah. You can look at it that way. But in my opinion, like, you know, we all knew... the minute we find out she can't swim, we all knew eventually she was going to swim. And it adds for a little more drama, I guess.
Yeah.
We also have the guy who absolutely should not be in the jungle. I don't know what he was thinking following his sister out there. Lily has a sister, and he is, like,
wait.
dressed to the tune.
Brother, not a sister.
Oh, did I say sister? Yeah. Sorry, brother.
Sister.
And he is, like, you know, the fancy, like, he's got, like, all this luggage. I don't know what he was thinking coming out there. His character is sort of just there. There's not much. I mean, he helps out some points. He gives away their location to the bad guy. But otherwise, there's not much to him, I would think.
Character is probably the worst character in the film. Well, I mean, I did not like this character. This character, at points, he annoys me, and he
comes off as whiny.
Yeah, he's also there just to get that PG-13 like rating.
I don't know. It was just... I think he was there more as, like, you know, the
character does.
He doesn't help much through the film, it feels like. That's the big thing.
Drags down the film.
And then finally, I guess the only other character... There are these, like, native people to the Amazon forest. Did they ever call it did they ever give the river a name?
Well,
I think they said it was the Amazon, right?
Villains of the film.
Oh yeah, the villain. The villain of the film is really the biggest part.
Villains with
villains. Yeah, because the villains to this film,
two separate villains in this film. There's the.
Oh, that's true.
There's the German who is like, we think this takes place like during World War II.
Yeah, we're not sure exactly when. It's got to be World War II because of all the automobiles, I would think.
Yeah.
In London, but he says he'd win the war, so they don't say exactly this is taking place during one of the world wars. But it's assumed that these guys are, you know, the Nazis.
Yeah. And then the other like group of villains is probably who I would have rather the movie focused, like, are shown them off a little bit more, is these kind of like these. So they were
Jungle zombie conquistador things.
I don't know. I don't know how to explain them.
So in the movie,
like,
there was the backstory of these conquistadors, right?
yes,
And they somehow get cursed, and they're cursed to always be on the river for the rest of time. And The Rock is one of these conquistadors who is like immortal, right? But the difference about these three is that The Rock trapped them to like where they couldn't get back to the river, so they like got absorbed into nature somehow. So we had like what, a bee like zombie guy,
right.
a snake zombie guy,
one,
and I
a snake one, and a mud one. Which
a mud one.
I thought the choices for these characters were probably the most creative thing this movie does. Because going to films like Space Jam 2 or those like monster people from Spider-Man Far From Home, those movies used like more natural elements for their like villain characters, such as fire, water, and different other things. So I like that this film took a more creative approach and used things that you typically wouldn't find on like monster characters such as
Yeah, absolutely. They were like surprisingly like good and like actual sort of scary villains, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know the snake guy really freaked out our sisters.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
I mean, the only complaint could be, and I think this is sort of throughout the entire movie, is that the CGI is pretty obviously fake. Which is probably better considering it's a Disney movie and we don't want it too real looking.
Yeah, I think it works. I think it's better than you're giving it credit for. I think it's worse to see CGI.
That's true. To compare it to, if we compare it to Indiana Jones 4's CGI, like, it's definitely, like, way better. But, yeah, so my sort of final discussion topic before we get into our favorite stuff is how you compare the ride versus the movie, which I think that's one of the coolest parts about it. I don't know if you feel about this, but like one of the most interesting things they did is the Rock's like character is running a jungle cruise for like tourists on this river in the beginning of the movie, and he does like stuff from the actual ride. Like there's a fake hippo, and he shows you the backside of water, and he makes all these awful puns.
These like puns that you would normally find in the ride, and that was like a nice aspect. But I don't know. I don't know why they. I don't know how I feel about this film.
I liked it because I think it makes it. I think it helps it really, tie it to the loose source material that they begin with, and it's a nice homage to it in a way.
I would say the ride would hold up better than this film in a couple of years, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. And actually, didn't you say, Zion, that you had saw something like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson had ties to the Jungle Cruise?
So there's a series on Disney Plus, and it's called Behind the Attraction. And the first episode that they do on is about the Jungle Cruise, and it like guest stars Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and in that episode it says that as a child he used to imagine that he was a like Jungle Cruise hipper, and so I'd say that he might have brought this up to his set, isn't he? And they just gave him a film to do of it.
Yeah.
I think this might have been his idea.
You think? Which we did see that he was an executive producer on it, right? That was in the credits at the end.
So it could have been his idea, you know.
Which I don't. So yeah, he probably had a lot to do with the making of this movie. I don't know if it was completely his idea or what.
No, but he had help, I would say. Well,
yeah, he definitely had help.
Creative force to tell this film, I would say.
And yeah, so that was a very interesting aspect of the movie, in my opinion, too.
Yeah.
So let's get right into the serious questions. Who is your favorite character, Zion?
I would say Emily Blunt's character.
Nice. I would think. I really liked. I don't know if we count animals as characters in movies like these, but I really liked
the tiger,
cheetah, like panther, whatever it was, that was on the boat. Then probably The Rock's character would be my actual favorite character.
Okay.
Even though he made some really awful puns in that movie, I think his character was interesting too.
Yeah.
So here we go, Zion. What's your final rating?
Our favorite
favorite scene. How could I skip over that, Zion? What is your favorite scene?
My favorite scene is well, if I had to choose one, it's when I would say my favorite scene is when Emily Blunt is trying to pull that sword out of The Rock's.
Same here, yeah. So that scene, we're not going to go into too much detail, but that scene was like really hilarious, and you have to see it to get it.
Bad.
It was hilariously bad, but it was. I think everyone in the theater, probably except for your sisters, were like cackling at that.
Yeah.
That was like top. That was my favorite scene, and I gotta say, I was not expecting anything like that, especially in a Disney film. But it was. Oh my gosh! It almost like it's definitely the best part of the movie in our opinion. So Zion. What's your rating for today?
I'll give this movie a 0.5 Emily Blunt out of
0.5.
That's the lowest rating I've ever given a movie.
Yeah, that is definitely okay.
This was really
so. Here's where we're sort of gonna flip the table,
really
flip sides here. So Zion has gotten a little annoyed with me in the past because I've rated movies he's really liked incredibly low.
Yeah, that's maybe an opposite.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say that his sort of his I don't know how to. Best way to put it is that I really like, even if they're stupid, these adventure type films that follow a little bit of the Indiana Jones formula. So even though this movie is obviously no work of art, I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I'm going to give it a. I'm gonna give it 4 stars, Zion.
4 stars? Are you?
I'm sorry.
And you
okay, no.
Return to Oz like 0.
I know. and Return to Oz sort of deserved that 0 star.
Oh, it didn't.
Okay, you know what? If it makes you feel, what? How about this? I'll go 3.5 stars.
No,
Because maybe 4 is a little extreme.
Stars. Okay, I mean, I guess.
I'll do 3.5 stars. But you know, this
Like-
Zion, this is my. I'm gonna like. The best way to put it is, you know, in my opinion, yeah, it's a little bit stupid, and it's definitely, you know, aimed towards slightly younger audiences. But
Well, maybe not younger.
it's really an all ages sort of thing. Because I would say there's stuff for the entire family in a way. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, but when you look at this film, like maybe in like 10 years, if you go back to this film, this isn't going to hold up well at all, in my opinion. It's gonna have
Yeah.
much too many jokes that feel just cramped in there. Too many plot
Yeah.
elements that feel cramped in there. We forgot to. I would wish they didn't have like 2 villain type groups, because in the end it feels like they barely. And you know,
Yeah.
they feel like undeveloped villains. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's.
They give it the lowest rating I have ever given a film.
Yeah. Zion and I had different opinions. But you know, in the end, this has been the Amateur Film Critics.
Yes.
It was nice going to the movie theater, at the least.
Yeah, at least you know. Yeah,
Remember to
I like
remember to subscribe.
the theater. You know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to get back to the theater.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to
Remember
the theater.
remember to subscribe. Follow our Instagram. There's a link in the description.
Yes.
Anything else, Zion?
September is coming. Or it's already.
It's coming. It might already be here. We don't know exactly when this will go out.
When we're releasing these, but
Yeah, this movie, Jungle Cruise, might not even be new when we finally post this.
yeah,
Oh,
but
but thanks for watching.
thank for
As always, bye.
goodbye.
Greetings, Buana. We come in peace.
Bart, get me down from here.
But then he'll kill us.
Ah!